Hey, welcome back to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Horn. It's time again to talk about what's been going on around the web in terms of retro horror and VHS news, because there's always something out there. I did write about this in my books, VHS Ate My Brain books, but there's always something going on with VHS many years after it ceased production. People still talk about the video rental era, people still talk about releases and specific tapes, what they're worth, how rare they are, that sort of thing. And this week is no different, and I'm really pleased about that. First up, as you can see there, American Psycho celebrates its 25th anniversary with a 4K UHD and VHS from Lionsgate. So I'm not a big fan of American Psycho myself, but this is going to appeal to a lot of people. So there's a load of extras on the UHD, and of course, look at this down here. There's a VHS. I love the artwork on that. I also love if you look closely at the tape there, the label has some faux damage on it. The rental labels, I really like that. I think that's really cool. If you want to read about that, that's over on bloodydisgusting.com. There is another piece over on Bloody Disgusting which I thought would be of interest. As Rachel Talalay, director, explains how Freddy's Dead is finally available the way it was meant to be seen. Now, there's some cheap jokes you can make that. The way it was meant to be seen was a different film. I'm not a fan of... Well, I'm sort of a fan of Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, but as Freddy movies go, it's not the best. I mean, even just that shot. The Halloween mask makeup that Freddy had in that movie was just... It was not great. But it has been colour corrected, and the 3D element has been changed. So this is an interesting interview with Rachel Talalay, who's a great director, thinking back about what happened with Freddy's Dead and how it looked when it first came out. It looked kind of like a TV movie with really dodgy effects. So in doing the new version for 4K, it has both had the 3D and the 2D versions updated, colour corrected, and the 3D has been redone. So the ending where Freddy gets destroyed and the Dream Demons escape now looks very different, has a lot more effective 3D. So that's an interesting one. What are your thoughts on Freddy's Dead? Put me down in the comments. I would love to know what you thought of that movie, because it is divisive. I mean, a lot of the Elm Street films are divisive, to be honest. But I love them for what they are. But that one, I never really got on with it. But yeah, tell me down below. This is a cool one. Over on skateboarding.com, again, I'm not a skater, but this is cool. Skateboarding time capsule, lost VHS, and artwork found by Dan Fios. He's apparently done this before, but he's uncovered a load more tapes and unreleased deck graphics that connect people that are fans of this directly to an era that they miss, and that is really, really cool. So there's some footage up on YouTube for it of the stuff he found, but I do recommend you check this out if you are a fan of skateboarding or the skateboarding culture, because that is a really cool find. That's literally, it is the time. It's the time has been captured there, and recapturing some of that stuff is really, really cool. It's over on timeout.com. Video rental stores in Buenos Aires, the ones still alive in the streaming era. Now, this just makes me happy that these things are still out there, because streaming is not perfect. Streaming goes down. Streaming breaks. Titles get removed from streaming. When you have a physical copy of something, it doesn't get taken down. You look after it, it'll serve you well for a long, long time. And yeah, movie libraries take up space, but what a great thing to fill your space with. So in Buenos Aires, there's still rental stores going on. Look at that place. Oh, that is so cool. That looks amazing. So yeah, there's a great story here about places that are still offering rental of movies over in Buenos Aires. You can see it's our people. It's our people, this retro photo there. This is a great piece. That's over on timeout.com. Go and check that out. It will make you really happy, because something's got to in this ridiculous world. Cheer up, Andrew. So over on chicagoreader.com, we've got this piece here, Terror Vision at Twilight. Chicagoans share their movie picks at the late night pop-up video store. This is something I would have loved to have been there to film, get some footage of this. A pop-up video store, of which there are several showing up around the world at the moment. But this one had people recording their memories of going through the video store era, and I love that. Like, they've got VHS tapes, we've got people in costume, we've got standees, we've got the ephemera of the time, and that is really going to help people bring these things back, bring these memories back up. I just love it. I love these quotes here. Laura, this lady Laura picked Linnea Quigley's horror workout. If you know, you know. Eminence pick Shoot the Piano Player. I like dreamlike storytelling. I was captivated by this ventriloquist-looking piano player on the cover. Yeah, why not? That's the thing that's about video stores. You see things that would appeal to you that you'd not heard of, or you discover an appeal in something that you'd previously thought wasn't for you, and that is really cool. Sabrina, Ryan, and Bella's pick Empire Records. I love Empire Records. I know it's cheesy. I know it's ridiculous, but it's a comfort film. It's a comfort film that I must say Empire Records is a great thing. So do go and check this out over on ChicagoReader.com. This is a really fun piece, done with a lot of love and a lot of appreciation for the era. Over on Polygon.com, here's a piece I really, really agree with. Bring back gory teen horror movies like this cult classic. We need more movies like Night of the Demons. That's all I need to say, really. We do need more movies like Night of the Demons because it was ridiculous. It was a proper late night rental thing where you would gather around, you would gather snacks, you would gather friends or family, and you would watch this ridiculous film unfold, and it just gets more and more ridiculous as it goes on. There's Linnea Quigley being possessed. She doesn't normally look like that, being possessed in Night of the Demons. Now, funnily enough, this one was actually remade in 2010, 2009, and it was not a bad remake. It did not have the same kitsch factor as the 80s version, but it was not a bad remake, and I do recommend you check that out. It's worth a watch at least once. Do check that out. But this piece brings up here... horror fiends are living in a golden era. Practically every week a new creature feature, paranormal thriller, or speculative zombie movie hits theatres. Shudder has become an essential home for indie and international horror, but Netflix, HBO Max, and Hulu, well, that's gone now, have thrown their fair share of millions at the genre too. But there's not just that. There's a lot of 80s stuff and a lot of 70s and 60s stuff. Check out the older stuff as well. Don't just focus on a specific era. Go earlier, go later, and give yourself a real flavour of everything. You'll find something that will blow your mind. But personally, Night of the Demons, you're not going to get much better than that. Says here, Night of the Demons isn't an ironic so bad it's good, and it isn't a horror comedy per se, although I was roaring start to finish after a recent rewatch. In horror, there's a fine line between giddy gruesomeness and vile exploitation, especially in 80s movies, when anything that aspired to strong R-rated video rental numbers, a producer-mandated TNA, and so on. But it talks about affectionately about how bizarre and mad and extreme these movies could be, and the ideas that they put on screen. While they didn't have the budget for them, they certainly had the ideas, and they got those things out and they got those things up there. So do go and check that out. That's over on Polygon.com. And while you're at it, rewatch Night of the Demons and the remake. I cautiously recommend that to people. I liked it. Big fan of the original, but I was surprised by the remake. I was impressed, to be honest. So, a lot of people have been doing Halloween lists of stuff they would recommend people watch across the time up to Halloween. But we've got here a couple of posts that I thought were interesting. I'm not going to do one of those Halloween what to watch before Halloween videos. I've done one before, and it's just, I think there's a lot of them out there, and I don't really want to. So we've got 10 forgotten movies from the 80s that should be revered as classics. Again, this is on ScreenRant.com, and it is entirely open to debate and subjectivity. But this is an interesting one. Like Top Secret. I'd forgotten that exists. Near Dark. Yes. Jojo Dancer, Your Life is Calling. Richard Pryor there. Love Richard Pryor. Mishima, Life in 4 Chapters. There's some different things on here that a lot of people may not have heard of. Also mixed in there is Alien Nation, now from 1988, which is a very timely film to watch now about aliens incorporating into American life and how they were seen. Do recommend that. Also, Black Rain on there. There's some great films on there, but it's nice to check out things that you would not have heard of. So this is a sort of good list to find some new stuff to check out. I'm still finding stuff from the 80s that I've never seen. Really enjoying that. Such as what was the one I watched recently? I watched one recently called A Certain Fury, which was about two ladies getting framed or caught up in a crime and going on the run to prove their innocence. And it was really gripping, really good. A Certain Fury, that was pretty solid. So check that out. And my last post for the day, I thought this one was a nice one. So this is over on clickamericana.com, Vintage and Retro Memories. It's a site I've never been to before, but I think this is pretty cool because it's encouraging you to revisit 34 creepy and spooky vintage Halloween TV specials and other retro horror on TV. But it slipped my mind. I'd never covered cartoons before, like Halloween cartoons, and you've got stuff like Charlie Brown's, the Munsters, the Addams Family, 21 Jump Street, all this classic TV that had these Halloween specials. Of course, everyone remembers the Christmas specials. There's Fat Albert Halloween special. But what about the Halloween ones? And I think some of those would be a lot of fun to show you there is stuff out there beyond just like Scooby-Doo and so on. But I would recommend you check this out and see if any of these bring back memories. Yeah, a lot of them are listed on US TV service and so on, but more likely than not, you can find them right here on YouTube. Do check that out. So I think that is... You see, Halloween is getting more and more of a nostalgia feel for me because of the kids are growing up. This probably might be the last year that I go trick-or-treating with either of them. And it's getting that sort of glaze, that sort of haze of nostalgia. We watch something sort of scary and we have snacks and we dress up and it's cool. So it's interesting to see as we age that these events become more and more mired in nostalgia, and I'm absolutely fine with that. These are good things to revisit and good things to enjoy. So on that note, I will see you again soon. I'm hoping to get an out on location video done soon. Hopefully this weekend, pending my ability to walk, as my ankle problem has reared its ugly head or ankle. And for the last 3 weeks or so, I've been out of action. There were days where I couldn't even get out of bed, and I had to work from bed, that sort of thing. But hopefully I'm on the mend now, so I'm hoping this weekend I can get out and shoot some interesting stuff. There's a few interesting things coming up over the next couple of weeks that I want to get some video of, and I want to show you these things that are important and that these things are going on, so you can get out there and enjoy these things too. Look out for Halloween stuff going on in your area. Look out for screenings going on in your area. Look out for indie movie clubs and things like that, because there's so much stuff like that going on round about now. So just enjoy it. Make the most out of this. Get the absolute most out of your hobbies. Go dive deep. Be a nerd. Join us. Anyway, I'm Andrew Ward. Thank you for watching this episode of Planet Hex.